little chef. Welcome to day 21 of working as a chef on a yacht. I keep my watch charging in the galley, and apparently the alarm went off this morning.
Heard birds singing in here this morning.
It's my alarm clock.
I couldn't find it. I went to the radio and I folded things up in here. I'm like, where is this coming from? Speakers.
Wait a second. What time?
7. Something like that.
Oh, it must, it must have been coming from your watch.
Right. I found it finally.
For crew breakfast, I made some egg and cheese sandwiches. I had some leftover eggs, so I went ahead and made some breakfast sandwiches that I can keep in the fridge, and when Brian gets hungry, he can just heat it up in the oven. After I cleaned up from breakfast, I checked on my little garden in the galley, and my green onions were looking great. So I chopped some off, put them in a baggie, and I'll use this for garnish for my meals throughout the week. By trimming the green onions, it will also promote growth. The owners are coming in right around noon, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on some prep work for not only lunch, but for dinner as well. The owners requested that as soon as they got in, they would like to be served lunch, and then they would like to be getting underway. While we're underway, I don't normally prep, especially when the seas are bad, so I'm glad I have this time to get some prep work in. Right now, I'm working on cutting up some fennel that will be made into roasted fennel puree that I'll serve along with some duck breast. I'm hoping to serve this for dinner, but the owners said they're going to a party tonight at the island. We don't know if they're eating dinner there or not, so I have to be ready for either situation. I'm also cutting up some eggplant that I plan to use tomorrow in moussaka. We're going to be underway tomorrow, so again, just prepping as much as I can. For lunch today, I'm making a salmon and grain bowl. My favorite way to do salmon is with a little bit of hoisin, sesame oil, and sweet Thai chili sauce. Pop it under the broiler until it's nice and golden brown and bubbly, and it's good to go. The owners love these types of meals with fish and lots of fresh vegetables. It's been a while since the boys have been fishing, so I had to pull some frozen salmon for this meal. Here's a little tip for working with frozen fish. If you salt the exterior, you'll start to see moisture being pulled out. Just dry it off with some paper towels and it should brown up just like fresh fish. The hoisin and the sweet Thai chili have a ton of sugar in it, so if you want to protect your pans from burnt on sugar, throw some aluminum foil down. My fennel is roasted off, let's make the puree. I'm adding 1 starchy potato into the puree to help with the texture. There's not much starch in fennel, so it won't come out super creamy, but the potato will help with that. Now I need to get back to my moussaka prep. Think of moussaka as just Greek lasagna. It's a layered dish with eggplant, tomato sauce, lamb, bechamel, and lots of cheese. For my bechamel, I need to start with a roux, which is equal parts fat and flour. So if I'm using 2 tablespoons of butter, I'll need to add 2 tablespoons of flour. And that has the thickening power to thicken about 2 cups of liquid. In this case, I'm using milk, and once that's thickened, I'll add in my cheese. Then I'll move on to my lamb meat sauce. I'm starting with ground lamb, and I'll add in all of my aromatics and tomato sauce. While I was making this, we got a text from the owners saying that their flight just landed in Georgetown. So the captain and the stew jumped in the rental car to go pick them up from the airport. It's about a 40-minute drive in total there and back, so I need to make sure lunch is ready as soon as they return to the yacht. This job is 20% cooking and 80% management of inventory and time. Good thing I have a type A personality. To plate up lunch, I put down a bed of spring mix and a mix of ancient grains, edamame, red cabbage, cucumber, and then my salmon. To garnish the dish, I'm using some jalapenos, radish, sesame seed, and some homemade eel sauce, which is just equal parts sugar, soy sauce, and rice vinegar, and spicy mayo. It's a beautiful day out today, so I served lunch on the upper deck of this yacht. While the owners are eating, I'm working on dishes because there could be no dishes in the sink while we're underway. I also took everything off the tables in the galley. We don't want this moving around. So everything that's on the counters goes onto the floor in this little corner in the galley. And the rest of the crew is working on final checks, starting the engines, and making sure everything's ready to go. The owners like to end every meal with a little treat, so I made something in the Ninja Creamy. I offered berry cheesecake and a brownie with chocolate peanut butter ice cream. They couldn't decide, so I just served them both. The seas are very rough today, so we decided to hook the tender in the marina. The marina's protected, and it is a lot calmer. So we'll do a short tow coming out of the marina, and once we get to open waters, we'll do our long tow. Brian drives the tender up to us, we hook, he can jump off the tender onto the yacht, and we'll extend it out. We've done this move so many times, we have it down to a science now. and we're on our way.
Watch, you're going right there. Tell me when we're clear. Make sure it doesn't catch on anything. We're good?
After about 4 hours of travel time, we made it right outside of Cape Santa Maria. We're in a little over 3,000 feet of water right now, and Brian has to jump from the yacht to the tender. Once he's on the tender, he'll start the engines and follow us in. Out of all of the islands that we hop around to, Cape Santa Maria has to be my favorite. It's that classic turquoise Bahamian water that's as clear as a pool.
Oh yeah.
We try to bring this yacht as close as we can to the island. There's about 7 feet under our props. Once we find the perfect spot, the captain will unlock the anchor and use the hydraulic system to lower it. This is my favorite part to watch. The sand here is so fine, so it makes this big explosion of sand. Once the anchor is set, Brian will pull up the tender to the hip. We have our fenders set, so we'll just tie them off. We'll use the tender every once in a while we're anchored here. We only use it for fishing trips and picking big groups up from the island. So when we have the group of 24, we'll definitely be using this tender to shuttle back and forth. The crew taught me all of these fancy knots, so I try to help out as much as I can. While we're underway, I can't really cook or clean in the galley, so what else am I supposed to do? When we arrive at a new location, it is all hands on deck for the crew. It's like going on a road trip. If you're stuck in a car for 6 hours, you get a little antsy. So we work really quickly to get the dinghy down so they can shuttle into the island. We also put all of the water toys out so they can use them whenever they want. The first mate is in charge of taking these out every morning and putting them away at night. Sometimes these toys don't even get used, but it's okay. They have to be available. It's just like with the food that I cook. Things have to be available if anyone gets hungry. Once the tender is tied off tight, we'll head back to the swim platform to lower down the dinghy. The swim platform is on a hydraulic system as well, so we can lower this down and raise it up with a button. While we're underway, the dinghy is attached and the swim platform is at max level. To get the dinghy off, we'll unscrew the screws, lower the platform, and it should just float off. The captain will hop on, start the motors, and pull up to the other hip. We use the dinghy a lot, not only to get people onto the island, but also to take the dog out to the bathroom. On the first yacht that I worked on, the dinghy was on the bow of the boat, and we had to use a crane to lift it off into the water. I am just so thankful to have these amazing opportunities given to me in my life. If you're enjoying this channel, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. You can also check the description for once a month live cooking classes with me. They're only $2.99 and you can cancel at any time. I have all of my Little Chef members vote on what they want to cook. I send out the recipe and we cook together on live.
What'd you do, Brian?
I have to record this.
He dropped his radio.
I'm gonna curse so you can't use it. You want me to, hey, Abby?
Yes.
When he gets in, I'll yell Brian.
Brian, he's over here under the water. Brian, can you hear it?
I hate you all.
You want to take this down there with you?
All I know is we gotta get it and get back up here and get to work. That's what we gotta do.
It got swept away. Probably threw it in there on purpose so he could go swimming. He really likes swimming in this pool. It looks like he found it. You! Yeah! You talking to the water? Come back, Brian. You talking to the water? Success.
It's on. I'm gonna put some flour on it, huh?
Way to go. That was much further away from the boat than I thought it was. Got an Ironman challenge going on with Brian. What do you think about this? It's pretty good, Brian. You have to turn around so you can get a picture. After I helped with getting everything set up, I went back into the galley to do some more prep work. We still don't know if the guests are going to have dinner on board, but I'm making it. It would be worse to have no dinner than to have excess dinner. At this point, it looks like the crew is going to be feasting on octopus and duck tonight. For the octopus, I marinated it in bulgogi sauce, and I'm serving it with a garlic sauce made with sour cream, garlic powder, and sugar. The crew got hungry, so I took out some leftover steak and made some tacos. I rarely serve the guest leftovers, but the crew gets repurposed leftovers all the time. Hey, I am never going to complain about leftover ribeye steak. So I'll cube it up and throw it into a pan with some taco seasoning. I also had some leftover refried beans and rice, put out all the toppings, and it was a make-your-own salad bar. The owners returned back to the yacht after a beach day, and they said they just wanted a little appetizer before the party. I seared off my Korean octopus and started chopping it up. Put some toothpicks in there, served it up to the guests with that garlic sauce, and the plate was gone within 2 minutes. They said it was delicious, and they still wanted a little something more to eat. So I got back into the galley and started searing up some duck breast. Good thing I had most of the prep done for this. I could crank this out in like 10 minutes. Cooking for others honestly brings me so much joy, and I think it shows in my food. If I'm having an off day, you can taste it in my food. The kitchen is my happy place, and cooking is my therapy. And I am so thankful that I can be in a job where I'm around food 24/7. I never thought that something like this could be possible, but I am so thankful. For my duck dish, I put down my roasted fennel puree and my herbes de Provence seasoned duck. To garnish, I sprinkled on some pomegranate seeds and a fennel leaf. I was really proud of myself on this dish. I thought it looked gorgeous and it tasted wonderful as well. I knew the owners were going to a birthday party on the island, so I wanted to send them off with a little gift for the birthday girl. I'm not much of a baker, but this is a super simple recipe. You just need some crushed Oreos and cream cheese. If you're feeling fancy, you can coat them with chocolate, but sometimes I just roll them in cocoa powder or powdered sugar. The thing about working on a yacht is you need to go beyond expectations. The owners didn't ask for this dessert to be made, but I truly care about the owners and all of the guests on board, so I'm going to do everything in my power to make this such an amazing experience. These little acts of kindness and surprises can change an experience from good to great. I got my bachelor's degree in food service management, and we were taught that the guest is always right, and I firmly believe that. I drizzled the Oreo balls with more chocolate to make it pretty. I packaged it up and gave it to the owner, and she was so happy. I kept a few of the Oreo truffles to give to the crew. They worked very hard today, and they are much appreciated. Remember, I show my appreciation and love through food. And this is the view that I get from my galley. You kidding me? It's almost party time, so the owners left in the dinghy.
Now what? Now what? You'd be spoiled some more? Look at this poor little poochie.
Poor Poochie!
Poor little poochie. Look at his cute little face. Is he sad looking?
He's pretty sad looking.
Does he have like emotion in his face?
He shows it with his ears more than anything. There's nothing like ending the day with a beautiful sunset. Thanks for watching. Bye, little chef. It's a barracuda right there. Barracuda. Thurston, get inside.